This is going to be an instructional video on where we're at with Taric, Taric Jungle, Taric Support in Split 2 of Season 14. There's a lot of changes, and I've been researching them, and I've come to various conclusions. And we're going to get into it. Of course, if you want, you can just go to the guide and see these things. But there's a lot of things that I can't really put into the guide very easily, so I'm just going to kind of go through what I think some of the major changes are. So let's just get right into it, right? Very basic stuff right away, right? With Ghost nerfs, we want to take Flash. There's a, Flash was still fine. Ghost is obviously was really good. Now it's not as good, so maybe this is just an opinion base. If you like Ghost enough, keep taking Ghost. If you want to go back to Flash like I am, feel free. The XP changes bot lane are punishing roaming supports, so you're not seeing as many roaming supports, or if there are, if they are roaming, they're being punished for it because they're losing XP a little bit more. This is also making Neela appear again, and Neela Taric is slightly better than before. The biggest struggle that jungle is having right now for Taric is the removal of chains. Because chains is gone, it is impossible. Literally, there's nothing you can do. It's not physically possible to build against 3 to 4 AD comps with one singular AP champion, because you can't do that, right? It's like if you have 3 AD, 4 AP, or 3 AD, 1 AP, or, 4 AD even, 1 AP, you're still forced to go items like, Iceborne or whatever into that AP threat. Now, you used to be able to pick up chains to, reduce that as a problem, but it's not like that anymore without chains in the game. So the best answer I have in the jungle right now is going Iceborne into Jackshow, but you're still taking so much damage from those AP threats because they have Shred, because they have whatever. Basically, if the AP threat gets ahead in a 3 AD 1 AP comp, you are practically doomed. Your best bet is to go into more healing and stuff, because you can't afford to build resist against it. Now, if the enemy is 4 AP or something, of course you could pick up Wits and Visage and Abyssal and whatever, but you can't really do that easily. You can't pick up more than a single MR item if the entire enemy team is AP. And on top of that, this new burn item, on top of Liandry's, like Karthus, Lilia, Talia, all these champions are going this Liandry's into whatever it's called, or actually whatever it's called first, because it just does so much magic damage over time. Like, Lilia is just broken. Karthus is apparently doing very well. And this presence of AP is basically killing Taric jungle. I've tried various builds. It's still okay, but I'll tell you at the end, TLDR, jungle is weaker now. But let's just keep going. Helia got a nice little buff or change that benefits Taric a lot, but it's still the same problems with Helia are the same, right? You need to hit enemy champions to actually use it, and then on top of that, you need attack speed in order to actually proc it quickly. And you need some sort of way to get near them and have attack speed, and that just doesn't really exist in any meaningful way. So, until this item has a melee modifier, it's not really going to be that viable. Because, it's just how it is, right? Like, if you can't get close to them, you can't do it. Like, I saw Emilio build it, and it's like, okay, Emilio has very long range with the auto attacks, and, because it doesn't matter how much damage you're dealing, it just matters that you're dealing damage, right? So then, the Q, auto attacks, whatever, is making Helia really good on ranged champions that can, continually proc it, right? Taric, meanwhile, is only able to proc it if he's hitting an enemy champion, and a lot of times you find yourself hitting wards or dragon or, minions or whatever, because that's what you have to do. So Helia, not as ideal as it could be. Locket's still weak because it doesn't have an aura, but it's still Locket. The PTA change is making it completely unusable for Taric. Please, if you were going PTA on Taric before, do not go it now, because it is now very selfish, because it only amplifies your damage, not your team's damage. And because of that, there's literally no reason to go PTA. So PTA Taric is dead, and Lethal isn't even in the game now, so Lethal and PTA are dead. So I have tried out Halo Blades. It's actually not as bad as you think. It's actually very surprising to people early. You can get your stun a lot faster. Obviously, it gives you that incredible attack speed. So the main issue with Halo Blades is just that its base rune set, the domination tree, is just so bad for Taric and most champions that, like, if it was like normal precision tree or normal whatever with Halo Blades, I think I would take it a lot more. But it's just not viable with the tree itself. It synergizes well with Helio or Navori, which we'll get into a little bit. And it says, note right away, the Transcendence bug makes Navori not ideal. I guess I'll get into it right away then. Navori looked like it could be good because it got reduced in cost by 700, I think, total, and it got its AD removed, which we don't care about, and it got movement speed. So it has movement speed, attack speed, and crit, which, yes, we don't care about the crit, but that's fine because like we could create perma-stun style builds, right? And so I was testing Halo Blades with it, but it's just not like, it's not consistent. It's like if you go for the double stun, which you can create a Halo Blades Navori, like basically a singular item, you stun, auto, you know, it's like a 4 cycle with your Halo Blades, and then you immediately get your stun back, and then you use it again. So you can get 2 stuns off really quickly, but because of the Transcendence bug, which once again, Riot codes their game through this Transcendence bug, which is the Transcendence Rune, and that means like whenever you hit a plant in an arena or some of the arena augments or Transcendence itself or being on fire, right? All these cooldown reducing things are all coded through this same Transcendence bug, which breaks Taric's Q. And if they fixed it, Navori could become ideal, but until they do that, it's still not ideal. Legend Haste is interesting, but if you're going the precision tree as Taric in the jungle, you're going to be going Alacrity just because it's better for clear, obviously. You could maybe make an argument for going like Presence of Mind, Legend Haste in support lane, but you'd only want to do that if you're going like Guardian or something, and we're going to get into why, because the Inspiration tree is crazy. And as far as the meta goes, Corki is now broken. Corki is now just broken. Jinx Corki is everywhere, and all the other ADCs of the game are bad. If you are not playing Jinx and Corki as an ADC, what are you doing? Like, I saw Varus lost. There's a lot of Nilas, and I keep seeing Samira too, but it's like, Samira I only saw do well when we were facing Nila, right? It's not like, you know, Samira and Nila struggle from having no range whatsoever, and Corki and Jinx don't really have that problem. Well, Jinx doesn't have that problem. Corki has to at least get close, but he can W in any direction because it's a free dash, and then this lethality Halo Blades nonsense is just crazy. So let's get into the saving grace, right? That was a lot of doom and gloom for Taric, because jungle is struggling. But support is doing way better. And the reason that support is doing way better is because of this jack of all trades Rune. Basically, it requires 5 unique stats and then 10 unique stats to get different kinds it gives you adaptive force, which turns into AD if you don't have any AP, and if you grab a little bit of AP, it turns into AP. Here's how you can get them as easily as possible. I've been doing a lot of math to figure it out, and the speed run is, you know, to do this, first of all, you'd be like, oh, but could you do it on jungle? No, you can't do it on jungle. Why? Because the starting item for support gives you 3 of them already. It gives you health, it gives you mana regen, it gives you health regen, right? That's 3 of them already. You already have 3 out of 10. And then after a lot of different, you know, number crunching and testing, the best way you can pick up everything else is to go Mercs. Of course, Mercs gives you magic resist, tenacity, and flat movement speed, as well as the Glacial Buckler, which I was going tier at first, but it makes way more sense to just go Glacial into like an eventual Frozen Heart or something, which, of course, the Buckler gives you mana, haste, and armor. So that gives you 9 total stats. And so now that you have 9 total stats, you need just 1 more stat. And there's a couple of options for that. You can go an 800 gold Forbidden Idol for some healing shielding power, and that's what I've been doing a lot because I've been going into Redem. Basically, it's just pick up the starting item, pick up Buckler, pick up Mercs, and then go into Redem Rush. That's what I've been doing support. Or, of course, if you want, you can go a Trailblazer, right? The Trailblazer, or even like maybe if you're facing heavy AP, maybe a Force of Nature or something, grab a Winged Moonplate, which gives you percentage movement speed. Note that it's not the same as the flat movement speed you get from boots. It is percentage based, so it is counted as a different stat. Or if you're really crazy, you can actually skip both of these and go some kind of Wit's End or some other thing that uses attack speed, because a dagger is only 300 gold. Yeah, so maybe we're struggling on the math a little bit here, but basically you can get Jack of all trades on around 3,000 gold, right? If you don't count the starting item, then you could say it's, you know, 2,800. You know, obviously, like, you know, the math is there. We're struggling a little bit in the math, but it's there, right? I was trying was trying to see if I could do it with Helia Vow or Wits or something with Steel Caps instead. But really, that's what it is, right? Jack of all trades support is giving you so much early effectiveness and haste for free that I'm not really seeing a better way to play it right now. To just go, I've actually updated the glacial runes. Right now it has Jack of all trades instead, and I guess I should change this to flash. I guess I didn't write anything. I really should have. But yeah, it basically would look something like this, other than we've been now replacing tier cloth with glacial. I should have updated this beforehand, but it is what it is. Navori looked fun, not viable. Kraken, we just don't need the AD. Fun, whatever. Helia, we can't proc it. Abyssal, need the AP on both teams in order to use it. But honestly, that's about it. I did finish Challenger again. Maybe I'd have to update that now. I finished it during the first split, but now it's like we're going to enter an arc where it's probably me just spamming Taric support. Without chains in the game, it's just too risky against the current ridiculous AP threats that exist to try to play jungle. And that's just the truth of it. I've been trying some cracked up builds or whatever. You can still go Iceborne and Jack Show, but it's just a lot weaker, and this Jack of all trades is just much better. So that is about it. I think that's nice and swift. I don't really want to get into too much of the details. Other than that, I think that's basically the gist of what you need to know. So that's about it. See ya.